So you've run into the dreaded F4 error code on your dryer, huh? Well, you've come to the right place. Today, we're going to break down exactly what that means and show you how to fix it yourself. You know the feeling, right? You've got a full load of wet clothes, you fire up the dryer, and then nothing. Everything just grinds to a halt. You go to check on it, and there it is, that blinking F4 on the screen. Ugh, it's so frustrating. But hold on, before you even think about picking up the phone and scheduling an expensive service call, I've got some really good news for you. This is an incredibly common issue, and the best part is you can almost certainly fix this yourself. Okay, so to get this thing fixed, we first need to understand what our dryer is trying to tell us. What exactly does that F4 code mean? That F4 code isn't just some random glitch. It's actually a critical safety feature. Basically, it means the dryer's brain, its main control board, has detected a problem in the exhaust temperature sensor circuit. The reading it's getting is just wrong. It might be too high, too low, or it's just disappeared entirely. So, to prevent a dangerous overheating situation, the dryer does the smart thing and just shuts itself down. All right, so now that we know it's a sensor issue, our little investigation can officially begin. Let's line up the usual suspects behind that faulty reading. Here's our lineup, and we put them in order of how likely they are to be the problem. Most of the time, the culprit is a failed temperature sensor, which is also called a thermistor, or a failed high-limit thermostat. And pay close attention to that third one, restricted venting. We've called that the root cause for a really important reason we're going to get to. Damaged wiring is possible, sure, and a failed control board is very, very rare, so don't immediately assume the worst. This chart really spells it out for you. It shows you exactly where to focus your energy. The probability of a bad sensor or a clogged vent causing this problem is extremely high. Meanwhile, the chance that your main control board has failed, way, way down at the bottom. The odds are definitely in your favor that this is a simple and cheap fix. Now, before we grab a single tool or start testing any parts, there is one absolutely foundational step that you have to take first. And listen, this is the big one. It is completely non-negotiable. You must unplug the dryer from the wall before you do anything else. Your safety is the #1 priority here. No exceptions. Okay, with the dryer safely unplugged, this is your starting point. A clogged vent is the #1 root cause of these sensor failures. So first, clean out the lint filter right inside the door. That's the easy part. Second, you'll have to pull the dryer out from the wall, disconnect that big flexible hose from the back, and make sure it is completely clear of lint. And third, you need to go outside and check where the vent actually leaves your house. Is it clogged up with lint, leaves, or even a bird's nest? It happens. Any blockage here causes hot, moist air to back up, and that's what slowly cooks the sensors and causes them to fail. So, what if your vent is totally clear, or you cleaned it all out and the error code came back? Well, now it's time to move on to some forensic analysis. Let's test the key components. First things first, you gotta know what you're looking for. After you get the panels off to access the dryer's blower housing, you're gonna see these two little parts. The thermostat, on the left, is that small, flat, disc-shaped component. The thermistor, which is the actual temperature sensor, is that bullet-shaped plastic piece on the right. You'll notice they both have two little metal terminals where the wires connect. Those are our targets. Let's start with that high-limit thermostat. With the dryers still unplugged, of course, just gently pull the two wires off their terminals. Then you're going to grab a multimeter and set it to the ohms setting. It usually looks like a little horseshoe or the Greek letter omega. Then just touch one probe to each of the metal terminals on the thermostat. So, what are we looking for? It's really simple. A good thermostat should give you a reading of pretty much 0 ohms. That means it has continuity. The electrical circuit inside is closed and working perfectly. But if your meter reads OL, that stands for open line. It means the circuit inside is broken, the part is bad, and it absolutely must be replaced. Okay, next up is the thermistor. The process starts pretty much the same. Disconnect the wire connector, set your multimeter, this time to the 20 key ohm scale, and place your probes on the two terminals. But here comes the crucial final step. After you get that initial reading, just hold the sensor in your hand to warm it up. At room temperature, a good thermistor should read somewhere between 10,000 and 50,000 ohms. But the real test is what happens when you warm it up with your hand. The resistance should smoothly and steadily decrease. If that number doesn't change at all, or if you got a reading of OL or 0 right from the start, well, that sensor is toast. It's failed. All right, you've done the detective work, you've gathered the evidence. Now it's time to close the case and apply the final fix. So let's run through the final diagnosis. It's like a flowchart. First question, was your vent clogged? If the answer is yes, then your absolute first job is to clean that thing out completely, from the back of the dryer all the way to the outside. This is the root cause, the real villain of the story, and it has to be fixed. And the second question, did one of your multimeter tests fail? Did you get that OL reading on the thermostat, or did the thermistor give you a bad reading? If you answered yes to that, then congratulations, you've found the culprit. That is the exact part you need to order and replace. And you want to know the best part of all this? This isn't a $100 fix. A brand new thermostat or thermistor usually costs somewhere between $15 and $40. I mean, for the price of a couple of coffees, you can have your dryer back up and running. And that brings us to the single most important takeaway from all of this. If you replace a bad sensor, but you don't clean the vent, you're only fixing the symptom, not the actual disease. The heat will still back up, and your brand new part is just going to fail again, and probably pretty quickly. So the final thought here isn't just about how to fix your dryer, but making sure you do what it takes so it doesn't break again.